Well, I'm sorry. Unfortunately, there was a bit of a bug, and having to remove a specific mod caused my game to crash a little bit. But I'm back on, and I've restarted my broadcast, uh, continuing the conversation that I was having.
Up next is Winona Harris.
Whoa!
Grandma plays the numbers.
Whoa!
Got a minute to talk?
How did that happen? I don't know how that happened, but it respawned an old building on top of a building that I had already built. That was crazy. uh, yes, that is not something that usually happens. Well, it appears that I'm going to have to go around and, take some stuff down because there were some errors. One of the small hazards of having multiple games. Anyways, I was having a discussion about the modding community as a whole and why we as a gaming community, as the people who buy and play these games, need to support the modding community and tell Sony that we as the people who buy their games want modding. We want to be able to add these wonderful, crazy things that people create into our games. And on the last half of the video that got separated, I showed you a sprawling little town that was created by somebody else in a mod and added to this world. And I dropped out in order to show you what this place sort of looks like when there are no modifications to it, when it's just the initial game area that you're given when you start the game. And this is what you get. This right here is the vanilla, what they call in the modding community, the vanilla version of the game, with no mod to the environment of this area. This is the same place that I was in before, just lacking the mod that made it a sprawling, almost high-rise, high-class suburban area, turns into, the barren wasteland of, a typical, Fallout environment. Someone had completely changed the environment of Sanctuary Hills, one of the starting areas from Fallout, to a sprawling metropolis. And this is kind of sort of, I've done some construction in this game. It's basically represents a little closer to what the place looks like if you don't have mods. Like, I've done a little bit of construction, and I've added in, you know, turrets and electrical wiring to power the buildings, and things of that nature, but the buildings themselves are the original ones that this place is made of. So, and this was just an example, an extreme example of what someone can do when they're given the ability to modify the environment, and you allow the community to just do as they please, just have fun with what is presented to them. Like, I'm kind of having to clean up because the last thing that I did kind of, you know, dropped all the old stuff that wasn't here that I had already initially cleaned up back into the game somehow. I don't know why, but I guess a simple side effect of having that mod on the game and removing it, which I only did in order to, you know, present a demonstration. But I'm gonna live with it. I'm gonna have to put in a little bit of work to clean things up around here, but I'll deal. Man, lots of stuff. Anyways, now, as I was saying, the modding community is basically just getting started on platforms. PCs, computers, have had the ability to mod games for a while. They're not going to stick up for us people who have platforms, who have systems. Basically because they don't need to. They already have it. They already have the infinite wellspring of things that, you know, people have just created. So they don't need to stick up for us platformers. They already have it, and basically they're perfectly well and content to sit exactly where they are and let things be, because as long as mods are strictly for PC, as long as, you know, the restrictions on mods stand as they are, the PC gamers feel that, you know, they have something that's special, something that's uniquely theirs, you know. Oh, if you want to do mods, why don't you just get a PC? Oh, it's just so easy, you can buy one. Like, no, we didn't get a platform game so we could go buy a computer. I don't want to buy a computer so I can play games. Like, I already bought the platform game. I don't feel like getting a whole bunch of extra stuff just so I don't feel like having to install my controller when I go to play a game. I feel like just putting the game in and playing the game. That's one of the many things that you just have when you're playing on a platform. There's no necessity to go buy a controller separate from whatever you're doing. The controller comes with it. See, PC gamers, they kind of like to feel, I don't know, a sense of superiority, I guess you'd call it. And they're not really ones to give that up. They just want everybody to transfer over to PC instead of trying to make the gaming environment as a whole progress. They're perfectly well and content to sit in their lap of gaming superiority and say, hey, well, we've got it. If you want it, you just play on PC. You know, forget about platforms. And I'm like, no, I want the gaming community as a whole to progress, not just one individual. They already have what they want, and there's no need for them to exert themselves to make this happen. This is going to be on us, the platform gamers, to accomplish. So what I'm urging is for you to... There are currently lots of options available. Currently, there's a petition going in order to tell Sony to change their decision and allow external assets to be used in modding, which is basically the entire thing that we're trying to get across, is that we need to be able to use external assets in order to use modding to its full effect, in order to have the wonderful things that modding allows. And while, you know, just having the mods themselves with no external assets is okay, it's limiting beyond words. Like saying you have 500 ways, you know, they pretty much think of it as, oh, we allowed you to mod it, you know, we gave you the options of using everything in the game. Isn't that enough? Well, when you compare a limited pool of resources, like if you say you can have $500 or you can have infinity dollars, which sounds better to you? Which would you prefer to take? I would want infinity dollars. That sounds much more satisfying, doesn't it? And that's because it is. It's far more useful. So saying, hey, you can use this stuff that's in the game to produce stuff is okay. It's cool. It's not bad. Like, I'm not going to lie, there are some okay mods that are out there, but we've pretty much hit the barrier wall of what you can do when you're only using the assets that come with the game. There's not much else that can be done that hasn't already been done. They've made some new little map changes. They've made the little cheat kits. And you know, made some areas, some rough outfits. Like, honestly, I wouldn't even call them outfits. They're basically just thrown together, cobbled sets of things that already exist, or a piece of clothing that an NPC wears that's been adjusted so that, you know, we the player can use it, and it has a high armor rating or something. But when you take into account that adding in exterior assets can do things like produce entirely new sets of armor, just things that look nothing like anything that's included in the game, then the slight alterations and add-ins of things that we've already seen just seems abysmal. Just once again, like comparing, you know, offering someone $5 to offering someone infinity dollars. There's no comparison. Now, I'm going to go ahead and explain some of the reasons why we, as a community, need to step forward. Just starting things off, we understand, PlayStation. You want to appear to be family friendly, and you're worried about the things that, you know, people will produce if they're given free range to create and add in whatever they want. And that's understandable. It's an understandable thing to be worried about. You're a company, you have to look out for the company's best interest. But you also have to understand, as a company, that your community doesn't always know. Like, honestly, the platforming community does not know entirely what they're missing out on because they don't have it. And right now you're relying on that heavily to maintain the fact that you do not allow mods for your current platform games. Or the ones that you do allow, you place these heavy restrictions on. But eventually, and that's one of the reasons that I'm making this video, eventually people are going to know. People are going to find out what they're missing out on by not standing up and saying something, and saying that, hey, people need to be given access to this now. Because if it's not done right now, when, you know, it's fresh, when it's just now becoming prevalent in the platforming community, then there's a good chance that it will become the mainstay for what is acceptable. For when mods become something that, once again, is just solely owned by the PC gaming world, and, you know, we, you know, need to just, and people begin to just accept that. And that's not something that I, as a gamer who wants the best for the gaming world in its whole, to be good with. And another thing is, basically, by not supporting people's, by not supporting the modding community in trying to have the restrictions that are placed upon us, that are placed upon the modding community, removed, we're removing an infinite wellspring from not just this game, but every game. Every game that is out there, and all the games that are coming out, anything that has possibilities that could include modding, which is basically every game. When you get right down to it, every game could technically be a game that is moddable, that is enhanceable. By their very nature, games are just programs. Very advanced sets of ones and zeros. Just a program waiting to be altered, changed, and everything is based off of a preset uh, list of things, orders and commands being followed by a set of programs designed to do a number of different things. Which by their nature, all games are already modified. Everything starts off as, ones and zeros, sticks and lines. Every character, regardless of how complex they look, is just a framework wrapped around a skeleton that was created. It's just, they look complex on the outside, but underneath they're basically just a stick figure. This person right here, that walking, that is just a program following a certain set of rules of how to move. And when you get right down to it, every single game is just like that. And by denying the modding community, they're basically denying every game from ever being able to truly feel the full effects of what can be done when you give a community reign to create materials to improve upon things that they already enjoy playing, that they already spend lots of their time on. And at some level, I understand that you're worried that maybe if people spend all their time playing a game that you already made, well, why would they want to, play the new game, the new console game that we have coming out, if everybody still loves playing the old game, if, people are just continually making things for this game that came out years ago. That's not going to happen. We as gamers love the AAA quality content platform games and that come out every year, many times a year. We're not going to stop buying the new games just because you produced mods for the old, just because we're able to produce mods for the old game. Even if mods become fully available for the PlayStation 4, for Fallout 4, and we are given the ability to add external assets into this game, and which will infinitely increase the number of things that you can do in this game, the missions, the characters, the environment, and basically everything that you experience in the game. That does not mean in the slightest that when Fallout 5 comes out, I am not going to be waiting with bated breath, because believe me, I am. I'm going to be, Johnny on the spot when it comes to that. Like, I'm going to be at, I might just have the pre-order in. Like, I don't like pre-ordering anything, but when Fallout 5 comes in, you better believe, if I have funds available, I'm pre-ordering it. If I have the money available, yeah, I'm going to buy the new the new PlayStation 5 when and if it ever comes out. You better believe I'm going to be there. Everybody who plays platform games is going to be there. They're going to buy the new system. They're going to buy the new games. Just adding in mods isn't going to limit the amount of money you can make selling new platforms and new games. It's only going to increase the number of people who are still playing those games when you come out with the new expansions, the new, combat packs, the new weapon packs for Call of Duty or whatever game it is that you're playing, whether it be Uncharted, Call of Duty, Fallout, Skyrim, or any number of the AAA games that are produced. We're not going to stop playing those AAA games. We're not going to stop buying those AAA games. And adding in the ability to add external assets to these games and increase the wellspring of things that we're able to do when we play them is only going to increase the amount of people who are still playing that game and who still find it relevant when something new comes out on that platform. When there's a new expansion pack that gives you a whole bunch of extra stuff, a whole bunch of extra AAA quality story, AAA quality scenes and movies and graphic content, and you know, just all the things that we love and have come to expect from AAA gaming. It's not something that we're going to shy away from if we get you know, true modding on our systems. It's just going to be an add-on to what we already love about this system. And denying us that is only going to lose PlayStation in the long run. It's going to lose you business, because one of the big things that's keeping a lot of PC gamers in this state of mind where they don't buy platform games is because, oh, you know, PCs have all these advantages over platform games. You know, we can mod our games. We can, you know, add all these extra things that, you know, aren't traditionally in there. And you can't do that on a platform game. Well, now platform games have reached the state where yes, you can do that. Yes, without having to buy, you know, an entire different set of controllers from some, you know, gaming store. You know, just use the controller that you bought with the system. You can go ahead and get, you know, that added content that you know, just people have fun with, free of charge. Anyways, I think that's about it for now. I've given you guys, you know, I think plenty to think about, and I'm hoping that that last interruption in my video wasn't too much of a big deal. I'm going to see if I can put the videos back together later, but as of right now, I guess I'll say goodbye and hope that somebody watches this video and, you know, joins the movement to make modding a thing, a real thing on platform games, and not just to the extent of, you know, if it's not in the game you can't include it, because that only limits the possibilities and the number of things that us as the people playing those games are capable of doing, are capable of accomplishing. So that's enough for now, and I hope everybody enjoyed this video, and you guys have a good one.
Happy to be able to deliver a little bit to you. If you